joy in my eyes, waiting to see what my love has done for me. Baby, you know you're my world, and believe you, I got you, my dear. They say it's going down because Santa's coming to town. Me for you, you for me, better than anything under the Christmas tree. Even though it's cold outside, I'm glad to have you by my side, yeah. Yeah. As we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be, yeah. Ooh, yeah. It's a silent night, got my baby beside me tonight.
Okay. Y'all, hello. Y'all, I was muted. Okay. Y'all, thank y'all for joining the tribe tonight. It's been a while, as I was saying. Well, not a while to go live, but for my content, okay? We have a special guest tonight, y'all. Make her feel welcome. Her name is, I'm going to call her Mrs.T. I am going to let her introduce herself. And I want to know more about Mrs.T, okay? Y'all know I'm all about the hidden gems, the hidden gems. This is a hidden gem. Let's introduce her, y'all. Welcome her.
Thank you for that. Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the tribe tonight. Welcome.
I'm excited. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And this won't be our first, shall I say.
It will, yes.
Thank you for joining me tonight.
Of course.
Come on in, settle in, get in this, get under this tent, take your shoes off, settle in with the tribe tonight, okay?
Yes.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I feel like sometimes that's like one of the hardest things for me to do. But my name is Shayla Tutson. I am the owner of Mrs.T's Treats. I'm a mom, a wife. I've got 4 beautiful kids, 4 bonus kids, and 1, 2, 3, 4 grandbabies.
Oh goodness, I did not know that.
Yes, ma'am. So, my husband, his kids are older and they have grandbabies, but then my oldest is 20 and she's got a 11-month-old. So yes, grandma too.
Well, welcome to the club. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Zion, for welcoming our guests, and thank you ahead of time for holding down the chat for me. Okay. So let's just get right into it. I mean, I'm all about the hidden gems. I love. Oh, it's saying I'm having a connection problem. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm all about hidden gems. I love them. I consider myself as a hidden gem. and I
Okay.
love bringing them to the light.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Yes.
So that's what I'm all about. I really am. So welcome, welcome, welcome into the tribe tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, what is your favorite? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, 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 no. Go ahead. No, no.
Oh, okay, okay. What is your favorite baking memory from your childhood?
Oh wow. So I have a lot because my mom actually baked all the time. But I can honestly
Mm,
say my favorite memory from with her as a kid was came home from school one day and she had baked, I think, brownies, cupcakes, something for like a class party that was the next day.
mhm.
But she had also made like homemade biscuits for dinner that night. And I'm a sucker for like a good buttermilk biscuit. So when
Mhm.
I got home, I mean, my mom was old school. She would make a whole dinner and like have serving dishes each night on the table. So she had like the biscuits on the table ready for dinner. And
Oh,
it was just
wow.
a, yeah, it was just a game for me. We sat, I had my younger brother at the time. I made him do it because I'm the oldest, but I made him sneak a couple biscuits, and we just kind of sat under the table because she had a big tablecloth, and we're eating biscuits before dinner. But that is one thing I definitely think about when I think about baking in my childhood.
Really?
Yes,
Well, thank
of
you for that memory. Thank you for sharing that with us.
course.
Okay. How do you come up with new recipes or a twist to a traditional recipe?
So I like to experiment a lot.
Oh,
And a big thing for me is I'll take a traditional recipe and kind of put my own twist on it. And usually that means, for the most part, at least for me, it could be cutting the amount of sugar in it because I love sweets, but sometimes it's just too sweet for me, especially
mhm.
store bought. So it could be um, reducing the amount of sugar in it, adding a little secret ingredient. But I like to experiment with new things so I get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest. And
Of course.
so I'll see things and I'll be like, oh man, I want to make that. But instead of trying to copy their recipe, I'll just sit here and be like, okay, I know how to make that basic part of the recipe. Let me just kind of add my twist to it.
Okay. Okay. So, do your kids bake? You know what?
They
I'm
help
gonna say.
me.
Okay, so go ahead and answer since I shot that out there on you.
They do. My youngest two are 14 and 10, and they would be in the kitchen with me all the time if I allowed them. There are certain times that I'm like, okay, this is for an order, so let me handle it. But
Okay.
they love being in the kitchen with me.
And that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing. Train them up now.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
They'll know how to cook for themselves. Um, how do you handle mishaps in the kitchen?
Oh man. If I'm being honest, it's a lot of sometimes I'll cuss in Spanish because I am from Puerto Rico, so I'll probably cuss a little bit, but I mean it happens. Sometimes I had a big order one time, and it was for
Mhm.
cinnamon rolls, and my normal process is to test the yeast before I start making the dough, and I didn't that time. So of course, the one time I didn't, the yeast was no good, so they did not rise, and it was a mess. So um
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
you just got to scrap it and start over.
Oh my goodness. I just
Yeah.
could not even imagine. I wish I could bake. I just can't.
Oh, it takes a lot of practice because sometimes I'll try something new and I'm like, nope, not doing that.
It's like it takes time. A lot of people they see the end result. They don't
Mhm.
see the mishaps and
Oh yeah, the mess.
and it's like they just they don't know, and then when it's homemade or handmade, they don't understand the time. And when
Oh
you're
yeah.
about quality, oh man.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That, and I mean, sometimes, yeah, sometimes that can be a little frustrating.
Mhm.
Because it, again, I mean, I bake out of my house, so I'm going and buying all the ingredients and thinking about
Mhm.
packaging and labeling and stuff. So
Mhm.
when I can find people who appreciate like that homemade, those homemade things, it's definitely a great
Mhm.
feeling.
And they are out there. They are out there.
Yeah.
Um, what is your go-to comfort baking recipe? If you're feeling down, you know, let me get up and put together some, homemade biscuits, or, what
Mhm.
is your go-to comfort recipe to make?
So definitely savory, definitely biscuits. I mean, I love biscuits. But
Really?
as far as like a sweet treat, um something quick and easy, and it's crazy because there will be times when my family be like, mom, can you just make us something, and I'm like, no, I'm tired. Like I don't want to.
Mm.
But like for the family, it's usually some type of cookie dough is usually real easy to make, and I have a recipes where I don't have to refrigerate it, so you could whip it up, pop them in the oven, and they're good to go.
Well, let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Because, people are always looking for a good cookie recipe.
Hmm.
Would you ever be interested in selling not your recipe, but pre-made, dough mixture for cookies?
I've actually done that before. When I first started, I actually would make like the cookie dough. I would scoop them out and then like
Mm-hmm.
freeze the cookie dough, and then I was like, well, it's kind of like how you buy in the store. It's like a take and bake. So if
Mm-hmm.
you just want like one or two cookies, yeah, I've done that before, so it makes it easy. It would be pretty fun, I think, to actually make like the mix and like package that for people. So that's something I've been thinking about for like Christmas gifts. Like, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
got this like jar and all the ingredients, and just add eggs or something like that. But yeah.
Yes. I think that would be a good idea. And one of the popular things right now are people are hosting um cookie classes,
Mhm.
simple cake, one layer cake classes,
Yep.
you just never know.
Yeah.
I need 10, you know, women or men, hey, can I get 10 people that, would like to, do a cookie class, you never know.
Well, I
So,
actually had one of the ladies that I'm friends with. She actually she works at a facility, and I believe it's for, I think it's a shelter for women, but they do different events for them. And we're actually working on a grant now. So I can go in once a month or something like that and do some type of class for them. So teach them, like you said, cookies and things like that. So that's
mhm.
something that I'm waiting to hear back from her, but she's trying to put, that in place to have me come out. And it's just, I guess it's to give them just like a sense of normalcy, or something different to do besides, all the stuff that they might be going through. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, girl. Okay. I'm all about women empowerment. Like it's nothing wrong. Oh, I love your earrings. Oh, you have a pretty smile. Oh, I love your
Yeah.
hair. Oh,
And I love
you
doing that. Yes, I love doing that too. And
know,
it's funny
so
because
good.
I think my my 14-year-old not too long ago kind of went out to the store with me, and I did the same thing. Like I'll see people or see women especially, and just be like, hey, I really love your hair, or like you said, earrings, or I'll compliment them on their nails, because I'm like, there's so much going on in the world anyway. So I mean, it's you never know what a small little compliment like that could do for somebody's day. So I'm like, hey, I love your hair. Sometimes
Yes.
I'll be like, hold up, where'd you get them done at? So
No, and then I'll go, and then when they kind of stutter step, I'll be like, don't act like you don't want to tell me.
right.
Like, don't act like you don't want to tell me what
Yeah.
perfume that is.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. I'll be like, where you get those earrings? Hold up.
and
Yeah.
I'm having giving people stuff right off of me, like, oh, that's a cute necklace for real. And then they'll be like, well, you can wait until we leave. I don't have to. I'm like, well, I might forget and I'm gone.
I've had somebody, she complimented me on a shirt I had on one time. And I was like, girl, this was like $2 at the thrift store. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love doing things like that, just because, you never know. It could brighten up somebody's day.
You never know. Look, I'm getting derailed because when it's good conversation, and you can get a little distracted.
Oh yeah.
On my Christmas giveaway this year, but last year we gave away coats, and it was so emotional. But I'm gonna move on from that because okay. Thank you guys for joining the live. Thank you. And if you guys could hit the like button, I would gladly appreciate it. And we are with Mrs.T Treats. Okay. And she's everything, y'all. I mean, she's a baker, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's a coach.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so y'all make her feel welcome. I'm going to tell y'all, well, she's going to tell y'all where y'all can find her and support this lady, y'all. Support her. It's all about support, genuine support. Okay, can you share a tip for making the perfect cake or pastry?
Oh man. Honestly, for me, I really think the best tip is putting love in it. And I know it sounds kind of corny sometimes, but yeah. But honestly, I'm a firm believer in that. And it's one of I think it's actually like my love language. So I enjoy even cooking for my family. I enjoy just people coming up to me and be like, oh man, I bought that and it was amazing, and every time I get a compliment like that, I'm just like, I'm so humbled, and I'm like, I really appreciate it, because I mean, there's a lot of people baking out there. So for me, it's really just putting your passion and your heart into whatever it is that you're doing. So I mean, that's for baking. I know there could be easy tips like make sure everything's room temperature. But for me, really, honestly, it's about just giving it your all. And if you love what you're doing, I love to bake, I love to cook. And to me, that helps me make my recipes better, because if it's not up to my own standards, I'm like, oh no, I can't sell that.
And you know what? And we're our own worst critic. Like,
oh, I know.
Yeah,
100%.
And then, and the worstest thing is when you are that kind of a person, you waste more than you sell.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, I can't push that up out of here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you're scrapping it. And then you have some people where, they'll, sell it and make their money. And then I'm like, oh, I couldn't have done nobody like that.
Oh, trust me. I, over the summer, well, Yeah, end of the summer, a couple months ago, I was helping a friend of mine out. He owns a food truck, and he sells barbecue, and it's amazing food. And um, we ended up linking up because he was like, man, I really just need some help. And I was like, hey, I love your food. I'll come out and help you. And he was like, well, Miss T, he was like, I love your desserts and stuff. So it was like a collaboration where I would help him out in the food truck and I was selling dessert there as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it was funny because one time I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this lemon pound cake. The recipe looked good. I was excited about it. Got the whole thing ready, and took it with me to the food truck that afternoon. And the whole time, like I sat down and I tried a piece, before we open, and I was like, nope, this is not it.
Oh,
I was like, I
wow.
can't sell it. And he was like, no, it tastes fine to me. And I was like, it's not okay. I said, it's not up to like what I would sell people.
Mhm.
And he was like, well, if you're sure. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to sell it. So we had people coming to get barbecues. They're like, oh man, I thought you had cake today. And I was just like, nah, I got
Yeah.
you tomorrow. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in that too, especially as a small business, because
Oh, yeah.
um, you can get good feedback, good reviews, the same way you can get negative ones. So I'm like, nah, I got to make sure it's up to my standards and it tastes right before I try to sell it to people.
Honey, I know. Trust me. And, I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, that can be the biggest pain is what you pushing, your
Mhm.
product, your brand. Like it's everything. Yes, but it's everything. How do you stay inspired to keep your baking fresh and exciting to you?
Honestly, I try to. I'm a big believer in getting feedback from those who follow my business page, those who have bought from me before. I pick the brains of my family members all the time. I'm like, okay, uh, I can't keep making like the same cookies and stuff all the time. So like what's something new we can try? And I mean, I'll see other small businesses doing stuff and I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Like let's go ahead and try that. And I did that one time and I have an item that every time I go somewhere to a little market, people are like, okay, are you gonna when are you bringing that back? And I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really about just getting feedback from people. um I try to make it to where when I'm asking for feedback, I let people know like, hey, I appreciate any type of critiques and things that you have to say. So I'm like, be honest with me, because if everybody's trying to hype me up and be like, oh yeah girl, that's good, it was amazing, and it really wasn't, then I can't fix it. So it's
Right.
really just about getting feedback from people. Like I said, I pick my family's brain all the time and ask them like, hey, what do you think I should do next? And just kind of be open to different things.
Okay. Okay. Do you think you may ever host classes?
I would love to. I would love to. I was thinking of the two different ways I could probably go about it. And one is, just kind of trying to go live and host something,
Mhm.
or just kind of show people how I do stuff. But I really would love to do like something in person. So it would have to be like a collaboration with somebody who has the space, or like a commercial kitchen space, or a big enough kitchen to where I can be like, all right, let's get a group of people, or even somebody who would want to host something like that and be like, hey, we're gonna get all my girls together and drink some wine and try not to burn the house down. So I think that'd be
Right.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, because I'm telling you, I know of one female. Um, she actually rented a
Mm.
space at a hotel, and the cakes were pre-made already.
Okay.
And, she taught them how to decorate that cake.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
She had a kit
Mhm.
for them. Um, and I've seen her do that for kids and adults. Um,
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm trying to push that off on. Look,
No, no, no. It's a great idea.
yeah,
No, it's definitely interesting because, like I said, I try to pride myself that in the items that I make them from scratch, and I don't ever try to knock anybody who, because sometimes in a bit of a rush, shoot, I'll grab a box mix of something, but at least when I'm selling stuff, I like to make it from scratch. So I think that would really be fun to do, to sit here and show people, be like, hey, I know it might seem, cheaper to just buy the box off the shelf, but if you think about, uh, and I think as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh man, looking at ingredients and some of the things, chemicals and stuff that are in these pre-made mixes. So I try to pride myself, and I think it's important, at least for me, for my brand, to let people know, hey, it's made from scratch. There's no preservatives in it. Not all those chemicals you'll get from stuff at the store. So no, I think a cooking class would definitely be something fun to do.
we keep going back to that class, don't we? There's something brewing, okay, out of this hidden
Yes.
gem. This is a hidden gem, you guys. Appreciate those hidden gems. Appreciate them. They're not cocky. They're not even bold. It's like they're humble. I mean, you're a hidden gem to me. You are a hidden gem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, if you could bake for anyone in the world, who would it be, and what would you make?
Oh gosh. That's a hard one. Honestly, I think I would love to bake for my grandmother. My grandmother from Puerto Rico, she actually passed away a few years ago, right after Christmas. So it was like December 28th, 2019. Yeah, 2019, she passed away. And before I really got good at baking and really started pushing my business, she was a big fan of mine, and I was always tell her like, no, you're just saying that, your family, you have to say that, but she would always express how proud she was of me. So
Oh,
I would love to get the opportunity to like bake for her and actually make her favorite was a tres leches cake. So it was something I never got the chance to make for her. So if I could, yeah, that's what I would do.
oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sorry for your loss.
No, it's
Um, and is that the cake that's kind of milky or something like that?
yes, yeah. So
Well,
I've actually tweaked my own recipe for that, because a lot of feedback I've gotten from people about tres leches is either the cake falls apart too much, or like it's just like it's too much liquid in there.
mm,
So I adjust how, the liquid to cake ratio, but I've also made it more of like an angel cake, so it's more fluffy, and then it really soaks up that milk and
okay.
everything. So yeah.
So, how much do you believe in science with baking?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I teach my I've been teaching my 14-year-old. I let her know, I'm like, because she'll be in the kitchen with me and I'm cooking, and again, Puerto Ricans, we've got sofrito and sazon and just throwing spices and stuff. And she's like, well, how do you, measure it? So if I want to make it, I'm like, kid, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff in there. But I let her know that baking is a science. You've got different chemical reactions going on, that if you got too much of one thing or not enough of something else, it can definitely turn into a disaster.
Mhm. I wish they understood that when you're making candy mixtures, and
Mm.
it's got to be to that T. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be
Oh,
okay.
trust me. I definitely
Yeah.
understand that. So
Mhm.
one thing I've learned over the years is that I'm trying to stick to a certain number of things that I've gotten really good at, because when I first started, I was like, oh, I can make this. Oh, I can make this. And I realized I just can't. And I tried one time to make like candy apples, but you had to have a whole candy thermometer and get the right temperature of the candy, or it got too hard, or it wouldn't set. And I was just like, nope, I'm gonna stay in my lane. That is
Oh,
not my forte. So
yeah, and I can make candy apples. I can, but you have to be patient.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they see that pretty candy apple, but honey, it's patience. It's
Mhm.
that thermometer. It's important. You don't miss no steps.
Oh yeah.
Okay, no steps.
Because if not, it'll go from not set, not ready yet to like burnt in like
Okay,
a few minutes, and
that
you're like, oh
quick,
man.
that quick, man. It's
Mhm.
amazing. It's really amazing.
It is.
Do you have a signature cookie, cake, biscuit, pastry?
So
And just not even baking, but like dishes, like you may make a good oh shoot, chicken fried steak, or so it's
so
just
it's
not necessarily just baking, I mean cooking, period.
yeah. So as far as like food wise, my family all love when I make they're called pastelillos, but it's really just like the Puerto Rican version of an empanada, and it's just ground beef and like cheese inside. And they love that. I think anytime we talk about hosting a get together for family, we were even talking about our menu for like Christmas, and they were all like, "You gotta have pastelillos," and I'm like, "It's just a snack. It's not really a whole meal." But as far as that, that's one of my favorite things to make. As far as like baking, it's come down to again, I actually went to our neighborhood had a little market yesterday, and I had 3 people come up to me and ask me for I make these cheesecake cones. So
Oh,
it's it's a like an ice cream waffle cone, and
okay, okay.
I coat the inside in those candy melts, because
Mm-hmm.
again, I listen to feedback. And the first time I made them, like the cheesecake filling kind of made them the cone soggy, so I started coating
Mm-hmm.
the inside, and then I make a homemade no bake cheesecake filling. So that's become really popular. And then I've got different like toppings. So the peach cobbler one is a huge hit. So it'll be like cheesecake and peach cobbler and on the inside. And then I've done like I think a cookies and cream one or a strawberry crunch one. And somebody asked me one time for like apple pie one. So that's one that I'm
Oh,
working on. But the cheesecake cones have been like a hit. And I actually, since they asked me about it last night, I was like, okay, I think next week I'm gonna have to just make a batch.
okay. I made those ones, and you are correct.
Yep.
The cone can get soggy.
Yep.
Um, and I made plain cheesecake with like the crumbs, and then it was cheesecake with strawberry
Mhm.
filling on top of that.
Yep.
But, yeah, but those are good though. So
Yeah.
I could imagine with the candy in there melted to coat it, just like a ice cream cone from the
Yep.
store
And
where
it was
it's lighter
funny.
at the bottom.
And it
It
was
has
funny because I don't know. I when I've had it, like I try to make sure I try everything before, I sell it. So when I made it and I tried one, like I got a spoon, I was scooping it out and like breaking off pieces of the cone, but I actually had my friend that has the food truck, I gave him a peach cobbler one time, and he really just picked it up because the cheesecake and everything had set, and he picked it up and he was just like biting it like an ice cream cone. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
okay.
It works that way also.
Correct.
Yeah.
Um, Hello, you guys. Welcome to the tribe tonight, you guys. You could be anywhere, but y'all are here with me. Okay, with the lovely Miss.T treats, y'all. And like I said, she's a hidden gem. She's everything. She's superwoman, okay? A real life superwoman. Where she sits right there. A real life superwoman, okay? And I'm not exaggerating, y'all. This woman does everything. Everything. Okay. So how do you handle the pressure of baking for a vendor setup or either a large event? How do you handle the pressure?
It takes a lot of planning. Throughout this process, I've learned I have to be more organized because I think the first time I did a vendor's event, I was stressed out. I was like, you know what? I don't know why I signed up for this. Forget it. I'm not going. um, and then I would sit here and like go crazy with like the amount of things I wanted to like present to people. But it really took my husband to sit down with me and say, hey, you know, next time, because he would see that I would get stressed out, and he was like, don't do that to yourself. And I'm telling you, he's my rock. He'll ground me when I'm freaking out about, you know, the smallest things. But he told me, he was like, you know, just make a couple of the items that you want to make. And he said if they come and they show up and you sold out, well, you know, here, hey, visit my business page. You can, you know, you can order online or just message me and you can get what you want. So he really helped me realize that I didn't have to go out and go crazy or just make a, you know, insane amount of items in order to be successful at these events, because it is stressful sometimes that I'll go and it could be a slow day, it could be a bad location, you know, things happen. But at least that way I don't have like a ton of stuff, you know, just leftover sitting out. So it's really just about getting organized. I try to do my research about where the event is. Then I think about what season it is. You know, summertime, I realize cupcakes do not do well in the heat because everything starts to melt. So I've kind of switched up. I got to pay attention to, you know, what time of year it is, different holiday flavors, you know, because I'm not a huge fan of eggnog, but I know some people love it. So I've started incorporating like eggnog cupcakes or, you know, something to, or pumpkin spice is a huge thing that I don't personally, I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin spice, but I'm like, hey, you know, I try to cater to those who are buying from me.
Not be about self, but that good customer service.
Yes.
Yeah, like and some of the stuff I make, I don't eat. And they always, and I'll be like, how was the popcorn? And they're like, oh, it was so good. I don't eat it. Right. And so my husband, how you selling something that you don't eat? You don't, and I'm just trusting that honestly that it's good, right?
Right.
It's good product, it's good popcorn, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
and I started, and when I for a while I was doing that too, because I was like, man, if I try everything that I make, I was like, I'm gonna weigh like 800 pounds, and I can't do all that. But I really realized that in order for me to kind of be confident in what I'm selling, because I could ask my kids, and my kids will be like, oh, mom, it was great, and I'm like, okay. But I realized that my kids will kind of eat anything. So yeah, I've gotten used to. Yeah, I've gotten used to just kind of making sure I try it, even if it's a small piece, to make sure, okay, that's not too dry or.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't be eating sweet stuff that I be making. But yeah. Are there any baking trends or techniques that you're excited about right now that you can think of? Any techniques, any new recipe, any new blend, any seasoning, anything?
Actually, well, I don't know if it's a new trend, but I've just recently discovered it. There is a brand of seasoning, because I was sitting here thinking, and I mean, I'm all on TikTok and watching things, but one of my things that I really enjoyed that I discovered recently is there's a brand of seasoning called Flavor of God. And there's it's a lot of, I mean, he's got savory and sweet seasonings, but they're all like healthy for you. Like they're actually good for you. So without a whole bunch of added stuff to it. And I actually found it, I think at Walmart. I think it was Walmart. But I ended up having a coupon for it, and I was like, let me try it. But they were really good. So that's one thing that I was excited about. And every time I go to the store, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try some new one. So
okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. Look, I'm not a cook, but I will say this: whenever I make meatloaf, and then my husband, he's like, "Oh yeah, you put some love in this." I'm thinking like, because I have a phobia with touching meat. It's serious, okay? Like like even smelling it. Now I don't have a problem with eating some meat, okay?
Right.
Some meat, you know, eat, but I don't be wanting to smell it and touch it. So if we get meatloaf, I'm doing it big around here,
right?
Love into it, and then you can smell it. But yeah, okay. So you've kind of already answered this question before we go into our next phase of our interview. How do you handle feedback from your customers, your taste testers? How do you handle the feedback?
So what I usually do is I'll have certain moments, and I'll just I'll put a blast like out on my Facebook page, and I'll say, hey, you know, if you bought something recently from me, besides just leaving a review, because I mean, reviews always help. I've created a little electronic feedback form. So I'm like, hey, if you bought something recently, just if you can do me a favor, I'd really appreciate it. Like, give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought. And when I first made the chocolate chip cookie recipe that I swear by all the time now, it was a brand new recipe for me, because I took what I knew about chocolate chip cookies and tweaked it to where I could have big cookies without them being kind of doughy still in the middle, and they were fluffy, you know. So I actually had a whole form and let people or ask people, if you be like, hey, if you tried this for me, you know, leave me feedback. So I'm always open to feedback, because something that I might think tastes great or my family enjoys, it's very possible that it's not that good. Or again, it could be too sweet. Or I made a chocolate, oh my gosh, the first time I made chocolate cake, it was dry, crumbly, it was horrible. So, you know, and I want people to let me know if there's something that be like, hey, you know, this was great, but it was a tad too dry, or, you know, whatever the case is. Because again, as a small business owner, it's like word of mouth is really how my business grows. So if somebody buys something from me and they were just like, you know, it wasn't that great, that's a customer that I've lost. Plus, I've also lost anybody that they might say like, hey, she made these cupcakes for me and they were amazing. And, you know, they'll reach out to me in the future. So I tried to, in the beginning, it was hard because I was like, oh no, you know, everything that I make is awesome. But as I've grown and as I've realized, like, hey, sometimes certain things just don't work. It's easier now for me to just be open to it and say, hey, I appreciate the honesty. I had a coworker of mine that she bought something for me, and for the life of me right now, I can't remember what it was, but she bought something for me, and I was like, you know, what did you think? And I could tell by the look on her face, she was just like, oh, you know, it was good. And I was like, no. I'm like, I need you to tell me what you really think. Right. And when she was honest, I was like, oh, okay. It was something with sweet potatoes. And, you know, sweet potatoes sometimes can be kind of stringy. Right. So when I made the recipe, like, I didn't pay attention to those little strings they get sometimes. And she was like, yeah, it wasn't really appetizing to get like those little strings. And I was like, oh man. So next time I did it, I was aware of that. or I made sure they was blended up just right, or whatever the case was. But it helped me fix that recipe, because then it was like, okay, now that's something I have to look out for. So yeah,
Right.
I'm always open to honest feedback. It helps me make my business better.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing
Yes, ma'am.
our food feedback, for the baking. And we're going to move into our next phase of motherhood. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be up because I just feel like I don't want to leave a stone unturned.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yeah. And I am enjoying this interview.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
nervous. I was nervous
enjoying
at
it.
first. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate talking about myself. But
But it's okay because you should. That's the part of that humble, that
Mhm.
oh, she's a good baker, but you're not like, yeah, I know I can bake. Oh, yeah, I know,
which is
so it's like,
which is funny, because a lot of people, once they realize my birthday is in July, so I'm a Leo.
okay,
They kind of expect me to be like, oh yeah, I'm awesome, and I'm just like, no.
yeah, you're very humble.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell you really are. What are some of your strategies that you use to maintain your work life and balance?
My biggest strategy is really, honestly, it's relying on my husband, because there could be times when, what, for example, again, yesterday, Thursdays, my 14-year-old, she's got basketball. So Thursday evenings, even when I was working out of the home, I'd be like, nope, I need Thursdays off or Fridays off, athletics. But having my own business, sometimes I don't pay attention to my calendar and I schedule things.
Okay.
So having my husband help me out with those type of things lets me have that balance, because I can bake during the day and do what I need to do. Like I said yesterday, prepared for the event I had, and he was still able to take the little one to the school for her event. So it's really, for me, it's a big help just having somebody by my side that, one, fully supports what I do, no
Mhm.
matter how crazy it might make me sometimes. But I mean, again, he fully supports what I do, which is honestly why I even started it. Because for years, I originally moved to Texas from Philadelphia, and when I was in Philly, I would sell like plates of food out of my house. But when you don't have somebody that supports you and helps you balance, like, say, picking up the kids from school or appointments or different things like that, it makes it a lot harder. So just
Mm,
just again, he has my back 100% of the time, and that really allows me to grow and do what I need to do.
mm. Well, thank you for sharing that. I can
Yes,
see that
ma'am.
he is a big contribution to the household.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
a big plus. That is a big plus.
It is.
How do you involve your children in your hobbies and interests?
Oh man. So I mean, I kind of try to just show my kids what my hobbies and interests are. One of my daughters she enjoys my baking, but she doesn't like to bake herself, which I'm like, that's absolutely okay. But some of my other hobbies, I love to read, so I kind of try to push that on them a lot.
Okay.
Especially our little ones. Just I mean, even if it's on my phone reading through Kindle, or I take them and we'll go to the library. I try to push that on them. I love art. So for me, like, baking is part of my artwork, but I mean, I used to paint and draw a lot as well. So I've got, again, my 14-year-old, she, last year, they actually used one of her art pieces, because she's taking art classes now. They put one of her art pieces in an art show over at UNT. So I just,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, it was amazing to see, and I was really proud of her because I think it was something she made for me. And her art teacher selected it to put it in the art show. So I mean, it's a great feeling, but I just kind of um I let them see what I like to do, what I like to enjoy, and I don't ever push it on them, but I'm like, hey, if you have something that you're interested in, go ahead and embrace that, try it. Sometimes you'll try something and you don't like it, but I'm like, if you made a commitment to it, stick with it for that season or that school year or whatever the case is. But I just let them see the things that I enjoy to do and, you know, show them how to embrace that.
All right. And let me kind of interrupt here. Zion,
Mhm.
I cannot read the chat. My laptop is too far away. I don't have on my glasses. I don't want to keep looking. I don't want to look down at my phone. Making me hungry. Oh, you're hungry, Zion? I'm hungry too.
Me
I'm
too. I
hungry
made I made
too.
dinner, but I haven't eaten yet, so I'm right with you.
So Zion, I'm sorry, but if you can kind of read the chat. Okay, thank you. Okay, what are the values and lessons do you hope to pass on to your children?
One of the biggest lessons I'm hoping to pass on to my kids is just the value of hard work. Um, my mom was a big believer in getting a good education, and no matter what kind of job you have, to just give it 100%. And that's one thing that my husband or I we're both trying to just implement with our kids. I worked at a job not too long ago where I mean, it's from older adults to even some of the teenagers. You get in there and you're like, how do you even have a job? Like, where is your work ethic? Because it's like they'll get in there and it's like, hey, I'm here so I can get paid. And I think everybody has those days, but one thing that my family taught me was no matter what you do, it's like give it 100%, because at the end of the day, you're representing yourself, you're representing your family. So that's one thing we definitely try to implement with them and say, hey, if you're going to do something, no matter what it is, I tell them the same thing when it comes to athletics. I've got my youngest, she's in orchestra. I'm like, hey, if you signed up for it, you want to do it, then I'll support you 100%. But I want them to have good work ethic. So get in there, be respectful. If they do your job, and for me, it's about finding something that you enjoy. So I try to tell my kids, I'm like, hey, especially when I had teenagers, it was like, oh, I want to get a job. And I'm like, okay, you can get a job, but you're going to go in there and you're going to do it right. You're going to stay off your phone.
Mhm,
You're going to pay attention to
mhm,
your customers, whatever the
mhm.
job is. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in just in having a good work ethic.
Okay, okay. I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying this interview.
Thank you.
I mean, because normally, like, I try to find or bring out, like I said, the hidden gems that in different music or this or that. So this one right
Mhm.
here is like I can relate to this. Okay. What is the most rewarding part of being a mother for you?
Oh man. Um, Honestly, for me, it's seeing the kind of people that my kids are becoming. Um, when they're little, when they're babies, you have to do everything for them. But I've always tried to be a good role model for them because I want them to grow up and be productive people once they're out in society. Um, my husband has this saying, and he says, we love you. We just want, people out there to love you.
Mm,
And it's not so much about trying to impress people. because trying to keep up with what everybody else is doing, it's hard and sometimes not even worth it. But
Mhm.
one of the greatest feelings for me, at least, is I'll get phone calls from teachers or encounter people in our neighborhood, or I mean, it could be a total stranger, and they'll come up to us and be like, "Hey, your daughters are so polite and respectful, and you know." Especially our 10-year-old, she's so caring. She's always trying to help the teacher, and she's helping her classmates. So for me, that's the biggest thing. It's seeing that when they're not in the house and they're out in the world without us, that they know how to act, that they're respectful, that they're genuinely turning out to be good human beings, honestly.
Mhm. And that means a lot. That, like sometimes when my nephew, when they school call, and and he's like, oh, I just want to call to brag for a minute, and it's
Mhm.
a good feeling. It really is a good feeling. It's rewarding.
It is, especially because we had at one point a couple phone calls, and I was like, okay, letting her know, like, hey, you know better, you know how to behave, and
Hmm.
make sure they apologize to whoever or whatever the case was. So I've had my moments when I'll get a phone call from the school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it now?
Hmm.
But I've had even the principal just call me and say, hey, I just want to let you guys know you guys are doing a great job. Y'all are involved. I'm on the PTA, and we're part of booster clubs and things like that. So the teachers and the staff know us and everything. So when we get those phone calls and they're just bragging on them, yeah, it's definitely a great feeling.
It really is.
Mhm.
How do you teach your children about balancing and time management? Balance and
um
time management. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, absolutely. So my biggest thing is just trying to tell them to prioritize. um my again, my 14-year-old, I use her a lot as an example because she's just involved in like some different things right now, but um she's on the basketball team, so we're trying to let her know, like, hey, practice is important. I'm happy that you're in athletics and we support you, but at the same time you have to prioritize what you're doing throughout the day. So while it's great you're staying after school for practice, or you want to go down the street and practice your shots and everything, that homework comes first. So
Mhm.
it's letting them know that you sit down and you say, hey, today I've got this list of things to do. Prioritize it. Which one's more important? Practice is important too, but
Mhm.
those grades, you better keep those grades up. So it's really just sitting down with them and letting them know that they've got choices to make. We let them know that your choices, your actions have consequences. They can be good, but they can also be bad. So
Mhm.
you have to own up to what you've done, accept those consequences. But with your time management, it's important, definitely important to prioritize.
Yeah, we always tell them around here,
Yep.
do what you're supposed to do, and everything will run what
Yep.
it'll run smooth.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and you got to be involved this day and times. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
not a question about it. You
Hmm.
just got to. Can you share a funny moment um, with your kids? That's memorable to you.
Oh man. I've got so many. But one of my favorite moments, my daughter, who is 10, uh, I'm probably getting her age wrong at the time that this happened, but I think she was about 4 or 5. And we actually watched, my husband loves Halloween and loves scary movies. So since she was little, she would watch these scary movies with him, and I'm a big chicken, so I wasn't doing it, but she would love watching these movies. And one of the movies that they watched was this movie called Happy Death Day. so it's supposed to be a horror movie, but at the same time it's a comedy. And they
Okay.
just have this happy birthday song that they sing in this movie, because it's kind of like Groundhog Day, if you haven't seen Happy Death Day, but where she would die, but she would like start her day over in the same spot every single time. So she's trying to figure out how to break this time loop and all that. But there was a song, her ringtone on her phone was this happy birthday song. And my daughter, I think she was 4 or 5 at the time, but she fell in love with this song and she made up a whole dance
Oh,
to this song. And every year now on her birthday, we have to
what
play the song. Yeah, we have to play the song, and we have to and she does her dance. So that's just something that's stuck with me.
really?
Mhm.
I am, girl. I'm sitting up here. I think I had a problem today. Oh my gosh. Oh, now I'm mad. But I'm gonna keep on moving. But now I got, oh no. Okay. Oh, I already used these. Girl, I done got distracted. Oh, how do you, oh, okay, thank you for that. Thank you for kicking me back on track, because I definitely got distracted. I started separating my papers, but I think that, yeah, but yeah, you're right. Let me keep on rolling. Hey, problem. Let me keep on. Okay. Okay, so how do you find time for yourself? How do you find this
uh
for yourself?
so I'm horrible. I'm horrible at, it's a whole thing now about self-care. I'm horrible at it. I am. I will stay up late so I can read to myself or watch a show that's not kid appropriate. Um, I won't get enough sleep. So I'm really bad at really carving out time for myself. My husband makes me, if
Okay.
I'm being honest. He will sit here and say, he was like, you know what? It's been a while. He's like, he knows I love to get my nails done. And especially because I'm working with food. I mean, I would have
Mhm.
claws. I love long nails and all the bling and all that stuff. But when I'm really in peak season, like now, I
Okay.
don't get my nails done. So as you can see, so he will make me. He's like, you know what? He's like, take the car. He's like, go do something. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I don't know, but you're grumpy. He's like, get out the
Oh,
house for a little bit. He's like, take some time to yourself. So um normally what I would do is, especially I'll bake all day and be exhausted, but then I'm staying up super late to finish my book or something like that. But
okay.
he makes sure I prioritize like just some me time, so I'm not, freaking out on everybody.
Right. I'm telling you right now, I'm all uh about them kids and stuff. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
just like, I just want to go on vacation. That's all
Yeah.
I want to do. I want to go on vacation. Well,
Hmm.
I want to make money and go
Hmm.
on vacation. That's what I
Yeah.
want to do. I'm telling you, like,
Hmm.
I'm just tired of keeping kids, and I'm just sick of it. I just want to go on vacation. That's all I want to do. That's all I
Right.
want to do. Um, so, what are your favorite activities to do with your children?
Oh man, I always take it back to again, my mom passed away, geez, almost uh honestly, I think it was 20 years ago my mom passed away. But I keep in mind all the things that we would do with her, and I try to like do that with my kids. And as they
Okay.
get older, You know, teenagers sometimes are mean and they'll be like, oh man, mom, this is lame or things like that. But I really try to push those types of things. So like now Christmas is my favorite holiday. So with that, you know, as a family, we'll sit there, we'll decorate the Christmas tree, we'll try to hang up lights outside. We'll bake Christmas cookies together. We'll go look at Christmas lights. One thing that we've started doing, we like going to Grapevine. I think they call it like Christmas City or whatever they call it, but they have a whole, yes, because they have well, just in the city they do like a Polar Express train thing and just a bunch of lights and like ice skating and stuff they do in Grapevine. So it's little things like that, activities throughout the year that I like doing with them. I like going and watching fireworks and picking a pumpkin, and I've taken them to an orchard before and picked apples. It's things that I want to do with them that is family time without any of us like being in our phones, which is a lot harder to do these days. But it's little traditions. Like we with my mom, we would watch like the ball drop in Times Square every year. And it's kind of hard here living in Texas because I'm like, we're a whole hour behind them, but I'll still turn the TV on. I'm like, we got to watch the ball drop, so my kids have gotten used to that. But I mean, again, it's just little things that I remember from my childhood that I'm like, hey, hopefully one day, when you guys have kids and I'm old and gray, you'll remember these things and you want to do them with your kids, So.
You are so correct. You are so correct. Okay, so, honey, I don't know where my coaching went to. Girl, no, I'm not kidding. So that means during printing time that I actually, I kind of missed it. So would you please, darling? Oh, well, let me go to that right here. And then I'll come back to that before I rapid fire so we can wind this up. But I have enjoyed this interview.
Thank you. Me too.
That you have, no, that don't make sense. Do you have any mentors or role models that you look up to?
My biggest role model, honestly, was my grandmother. She was super old school. She was Catholic, which growing up being a Catholic was definitely hard, had its challenges. But I could tell how much she just cared about family. Was like the biggest thing for her. And while my own blood relatives, I don't have any of my blood relatives besides my kids here in Texas. It's one thing that I've tried to follow in her footsteps with, as far as embracing family. So my husband, he's born and raised in McKinney. All of his family is here in Texas. So we do our best I do my best to sit here and embrace family and just spend time with each other, because it's as I'm getting older, I'm sitting here realizing like life is a lot shorter than we think, and we're not ever really promised tomorrow. So her biggest impact.
Oh my goodness, you froze up on me. I don't know if it's mine because I keep seeing the little signal thing kind of going up and down.
Okay.
So we're gonna go into some rapid fire, very quick questions. Thank you again. And you're welcome back anytime to promote your business, anything, your coaching, your baking business, it don't matter, okay? Tell me, I will advertise it for y'all. Before I go into this rapid fire, can you please give me a little insight on your coaching, please,
Okay.
and what y'all offer, and if y'all offer this service to others,
Mhm.
how they can reach you. Um, tell us a little bit about the coaching, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So, my husband and I, we have a track team. It is TOTR Track Club, and honestly, he started it before we even met. Um, excuse me. I
Mhm.
know he's told me he's been coaching like over 30 years, I believe. When he came back from the Army, he said he got into coaching because he loved track and field. And honestly, when we got together, my extent of track and field knowledge was when I was in high school, I was in ROTC. So, we had to like run the mile, and then I ran cross country. So that was my extent of track and field, which is not the cross country is not the same as, sprints and field events and stuff like that. So I really saw his passion for coaching, and it made me want to get involved, even though I knew nothing about track and field. So over the years, I've gained a lot of knowledge. It actually helps. I'm actually a USA Track and Field certified official as well. So with that, I've gained not only the knowledge of how to coach athletes on the sport and different techniques, but now I also know like the rules behind it, which
Mhm.
actually helps me coach our athletes as well. So we are a very small track club. Right now it is off season for us because we are a summer track club. But we do have some high schoolers, and then our two daughters and one of our other elementary school kids who come out. It is off season technically, but the high schoolers sometimes will do indoor meets. So what we
Mhm.
do is in the fall, we do practice once a week on Sundays and just have them come out. We'll do like strength and conditioning. We'll do some plyometric work. It's just something to keep them in shape and have them ready for when, say, school track season starts. And then when school track starts, we help them with different workouts, stretching. We have a whole stretching regimen, make sure nobody gets injured. But we coach them on short sprints, long sprints. Um, we actually started doing triple jump and long jump not too long ago, and then this past year we've started doing throws as well. So we've got our two daughters do discus and shot put, and then they have javelin as well. So we've started doing that. We've got a Facebook page. It is TOTR Track Club. But our biggest thing is we like to keep it small because it's just us two. So we try to keep our numbers probably less than 20. It gives us time to really focus on athletes as individuals, which we go to a lot. We go to so many summer track meets, whether in the DFW area. We've been down in Austin. We do a couple meets in Austin. We actually have a meet coming up in January. I believe it's down in Houston. So we travel all over the place, but it's one of the things we pride ourselves on with the track club is keeping it small, so that way all the athletes at once a certain point in time can have individual attention. I'll sit here and record if they're practicing, if they're doing a certain drill. I record those drills for them. My husband will analyze it, say, hey, you need to fix this, you got to work on that, tweak certain things. But we also give that feedback to those athletes so they can see. It helps them out a lot to see, hey, you need to bring your knees up, or your back's not straight enough, or whatever the case is. But it helps them out a lot to actually see where they can improve. So that's one of the things we pride ourselves on as well. So we accept new athletes. But one of our biggest things is that we don't sit here and try to recruit. We've been to track meets before where you'll have coaches going to other athletes who are, dominating in a certain event, and they'll be like, oh, what team are you with? You should come and run for us. And we don't ever try to do that. Honestly, a lot of our high schoolers have come from our own kids or some of our athletes that have been with us from years, they'll turn around and they'll say, hey, you know, I'm on this really great track club. Y'all should come and run with us during the summer. So it's actually our other athletes recruiting and bringing in other kids. So again, we like to keep it small. We like to do that individualized attention so they can really improve. And one of the biggest things that Alonzo works on is for our high schoolers, if they want to go to take it to the next level and run in college, he knows so many, well, actually both of us now, because as officials, we work a lot of college meets. So NCAA and all of these different divisions, we work a lot of these meets. So we've gotten to know a lot of these college coaches as well. So that's one of our goals, is if we have an athlete who wants to compete at the next level or try to work on getting a scholarship, you know, we make sure that we do what we can to get them there.
Okay, thank you. I told y'all. I'm telling you. You know, this is a hidden gem. A hidden gem. So, yes, you guys, we are ending our interview with a little rapid fire, okay? Real quick, real quick. What is your favorite dessert to bake?
Cheesecake.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning or night owl?
Night owl.
The last book you've read?
Ooh, what is the name of it? It is actually, hold on, because I've got it right here. It's an old book, but it's Tom Clancy's book, The Sum of All Fears.
The Sum of All Fears?
Yes. I know they made it into a movie, but I actually sat down and read the book.
Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I've actually always wanted to go to Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Australia? Oh no, is that Australia? Was that accent Australia, girl? Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. What is your go-to comfort food?
Oh, it's got to be Spanish rice and beans and fried chicken.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
Right now, it's a show on Paramount Plus that I watch with my husband, and it's called Lioness.
Lioness. That sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. It's got Zoe. What is her last name? Zoe Saldana, I believe. She was in Guardians of the Galaxy and Columbiana. She's in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a real big movie person, but I've heard that name before.
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing you can't live without in the kitchen?
Oh, my KitchenAid mixer.
Okay. One word to describe yourself.
That's a tough one. I'll say ambitious.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay. What inspires you the most?
My family, for sure.
What is your favorite season of the year?
Oh, winter.
Okay.
I grew up kind of all over the place. I'm an Army brat. But I love living up north and the snow. I don't like it so much now.
Okay.
But I love winter time just because Christmas.
Because you did say that Christmas was your favorite holiday. So I kind of think that the whole winter would be something. You know, I'm a July baby. And
Me too.
I just don't like the heat that well.
Yeah, I've lived kind of all over the place. And before I lived in Texas, I lived in Philadelphia. But I've also lived in Puerto Rico. And this Texas heat is something else. It is something else. I don't think it ever got to 110 in Puerto Rico. So yeah.
It's actually sickening. Mhm.
Yeah.
Your dream job as a child.
Oh man, as a child, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, sweet or savory?
Savory.
What is your favorite holiday tradition?
Ooh. Watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Girl, okay. Oh, did you see? Okay, so let me move on. Um, they had some cute ones this year.
They
What is
did.
what one of your superpowers? What one superpower that you wish you had?
I would love to be able to teleport.
That's a good one.
I've got family out of state, so it'd be nice to just kind of poof pop in.
Favorite hobby outside of baking and coaching?
Reading.
Okay. What is one thing on your bucket list?
Hmm.
Do you have a bucket list?
I don't per se, but I've actually one thing that I want to do is actually ride in a helicopter, which is crazy because I'm scared of heights, but I think that'd be
Girl,
fun. My
listen.
husband, my husband on my birthday one year, he took us it was dinner and then like a private flight. So it was like one of those really small planes. And I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You know I'm scared of heights, but it was really fun. It was actually really fun once I got past of how high up we were. It was nice to see the skyline and all that.
Okay, so listen, if you see me in Vegas, okay, and you see me
Okay.
in a helicopter ride, I don't want you saying, oh, she heard me say I wanted to ride in a helicopter. Because that's like one of the things I keep telling my husband is we're gonna go in the helicopter. Is we're gonna go.
Yeah.
But he ain't trying to hear, I ain't going to no Vegas. I barely be wanting to get in the plane to go to
Mm.
Vegas. I'm not gonna go to Vegas and then get in a helicopter. That's
Right.
But anyway, so if you see me in the helicopter, girl, just clap for me, okay?
You're right. I'll be like, yo, she did it. All right.
Your favorite quote or saying?
Um, See, if you wouldn't have asked me, I would have thought of something off the top of my head. And okay, so this is one that we kind of say all the time. And it sounds when I think about it like out of context, it sounds very corny, but I think everybody's seen Drumline. So we say this a lot with our track team. We say one band, one sound, but really we use that quote to just try to embrace us as far as being a team. Because some of our high school athletes, they don't get that sense of team on their high school team. So when they're representing TOTR, we're like, hey, don't leave camp by yourself. Representing the whole team. We need everybody working together to make this successful. So we use one band, one sound a lot.
Okay. Flights or cruise?
Mhm. Flights or cruise? I've never been on a cruise, so I think I'll choose cruise just because I want to experience it.
Do you want to go on a cruise? We're actually putting together a cruise. Well, it's
I
already
would.
put together. So it's for September. On the back end, I can get you the info if you want to just look into it.
Yeah, I would love to. I've sat here and always talked about it. It's one thing my husband was like, nope, he's not doing. So it'd have to probably be like a girls' trip or something. Where I'm like, I'll go by myself. It's okay.
Okay. Well, this trip is a lot of people. It's like a lot of people. He may be interested. Who knows? I will get you that info though. So thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for
ma'am.
joining me tonight. It was a pleasure. You were it was a pleasant to interview you. It was
Thank you.
different for me. You are a hidden gem, and I don't want you to be a hidden gem. And let me say, when I say hidden gem, I don't mean that nobody knows you, because you are known. So let me stop, or at least make that be known that you are somebody. You are known. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we leave, can you tell them where they can find you and follow you? And because I want them to support you. That's
Yeah,
bringing you here.
abs-
That's what I want you to leave with.
yeah.
Support and people to check you out and give you a chance. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
y'all. Excuse me. I have had some of her cakes, y'all, and they were good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, yeah, tell them where they can find you.
So the platform that I use the most is Facebook. I do have an Instagram. I have a TikTok, but I'm not as active on those as I probably should be,
Mhm.
because content creator is definitely not something that I'm great at. Everybody wants you to all these transitions and things for different videos, and I'm not good at that. But on Facebook, it's Mrs. T's Treats. I'm actually working on a website. That way I can have a certain number of things that are like my most popular items. That way it's a little bit easier. Because right now, like if you want to order from me, you'd have to go to my business page and just shoot me a message, or an email. And sometimes I can miss messages and emails. So I'm working on a website. That way, if you can't get in touch with me personally, you can still place an order and get items.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you, darling. I
No, and I
can't
thank
leave
you
you
so
out.
much. I really appreciate you inviting me on. Like I said, I got the message and I told Alonzo, and I was like, I would love to. I was like, but I was kind of just shocked. I was like, oh, she wants to interview me.
Yes, honey. Yes. See, that's when um I see you, right? I see you. You're a gem. You're a hidden gem to me.
Thank
So I
you.
see you, and I want to give you your flowers. Okay, you are
Thank
superwoman.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you
you
so much.
superwoman. You the real superwoman. If y'all ain't never seen a real live one, there she is. But
Thank you so
thank
much.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, y'all, thank y'all for joining the tribe tonight, y'all. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not a subscriber, it's not too late, okay? Also, hit that like button and share this live if you would. Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
And if you missed this interview, please, y'all, go back and oh, you guys, look, I did not know this because I cannot see the chat, okay? But the track club is in the comments. Just screenshot, y'all. Screenshot it, write it down. It is in the comments, you guys. Y'all support them, support them, support them, support this family. They are a tribe. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Tutson.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you. Y'all, that was a good interview, okay? That was a good interview, y'all. Go back, relook at the interview. Um, leave comments. Y'all support her. It's nothing like a woman that's out there making her money, okay? Feeding her family, being a mother. I love it, y'all. I love it. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you, Miss Stewart. When am I going to get you on an interview? Okay. Y'all, thank y'all for joining this live. I could not thank you enough. Y'all, and like, share, and subscribe. Okay. 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 Okay.
It's the Big Daddy Show!
Is my favorite time of the year, celebrating Christmas, a happy new year. Friends and family all around, some from in and out of town, having get together, partying all around, doing what we know, giving gifts to the ones we love the most, spreading joy all around, people dancing all around. Baby, my love for you, believe me, I'm telling you, 'cause the gift I want the most is right here with me. Yeah. As we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be. Yeah. All I want is you for Christmas. It's a silent night, got my baby beside me tonight. Little kids look so excited to see when they wake up in the morning, see what's under the Christmas tree. I can't lie, so do I. Wake up with joy in my eyes, waiting to see what my love has done for me. Baby, you know you're my world, and believe you, I got you, my dear. They say it's going down because Santa's coming to town. Me for you, you for me, better than anything under the Christmas tree.